Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hey, what's good? It's me, Jason.
Let's get it started in here, bro. How are you?
Let's get it started in here, Black Eyed Peas style, #1 rap group of 2007.
2007. I mean, somebody you have history with. I didn't mean to bring that up off the rip, but another Sunday in podcast land.
Look,
beautiful.
Will is Will. All right, take him or leave him. That's what I say.
That's true. I mean, I'm rocking his sunglasses as we speak.
You don't know my Will, okay?
No, sure. We get the public version. You get the real Will, the real Big Willie style behind the scenes.
He different.
It's a beautiful day in ATL, baby. Oh my goodness.
Okay, it's going down. Yeah, I was actually talking to our mutual friend Decatur Dan yesterday, and I was letting him know about my little trip down to the south, and he said, "Oh, you know, one call, one text, and we're on the list for Magic City. Just let me know." So that's...
Yeah, you guys can go ahead. You know I don't like strip clubs. They make me uncomfortable.
Damn. I mean, that's a lot to unpack there, isn't it? Does it make you uncomfortable? The objectification of women? What is it? How? Where
No, I just don't like seeing... I don't like seeing men... I don't know. It's the men. It's not the women.
The male energy in there is definitely a little cursed, but that... You know, there's more than one type of script club. There's the full nude, no alcohol...
Not in Atlanta, there's not. It's just all full nude, all full alcohol, baby. We get lit.
Like, there's strip club environment where like it's a party, y'all. We having fun and it's all good. And then there's strip club environment of like, I'm here because I require the smell of a lady. You know, like that type of male energy, and that's where it gets a little. But I mean, you know, the party atmosphere strip club is also just a thin veil to cover, you know, the pretty easily recognizable equal
money laundering.
Well, just like, you know, this is a house of sin, you know, like, you know, there are people here having fun. I don't want to get into a conversation about sex workers right now, but you know, there's people who are there because they want to be, and there's people who are there because they have to be. We can leave it at that.
We can leave it at that. Anyway, Magic City, we could go. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We could go. For TJ, I would go. The problem is it starts a little late. You know what I'm saying? So for me, you know,
I mean, isn't it like when you say it starts a little bit late, you mean technically the doors are open, but it ain't really worth going until...
It ain't. The walls ain't sweating until 1 a.m. on a Monday night. Okay. So I mean, that's tough.
It's meant to be handled as if it were just a regular club and not a strip club of like, if you show up at 9:59, you know, with your little drink ticket ready to get in, like it's not going to be a movie for you.
You're going to see the employees smoking hookah and eating wings, and then you see behind the curtain in a way that you don't want to see.
Chris,
you know what I mean?
You ever smoke a hookah before?
Bitch, of course I've smoked a hookah before. You know what I'm saying? I get that. You know, I get that coconut mango. You know. No, I'm just kidding. I have smoked hookah before. It's disgusting. I truly don't understand it. Like I just don't.
Come on.
I guess
it tastes. It's fruity smoke. Tastes good.
Fruity Smoke has never done anything. I mean, when I was rolling the Swishers, they be playing. I'm not into flavors.
Right. So you know, since you were a certified Swish man, you were like, what is the point of pulling on this tube and it tastes like Jolly Rancher and all it does is give me a little headache versus pulling on this wood. Gripping this wood grain.
I want to taste the green crack. You know what I'm saying? I want to taste the loud pack. I don't want to taste some artificial flavoring. That's for you. You know, that's like drinking Tropicana where you can squeeze it yourself. I'm squeezing.
An analogy that I can really sink my teeth into. So you're saying, you know, if I am going to run the risk of damaging my lungs with harmful carcinogens, I at least want to be afforded the luxury of taking off and going to Mars, is what you're saying.
Yes, and I also I think that's I just don't know why you need to sugarcoat. If you're getting the Pacquiao, you shouldn't need to mask the flavor with a vanilla blunt wrap. Like that's crazy to me. That's polluting. It's much like putting an alternative milk into my cold brew. I don't pollute my bean and I don't pollute my green either.
Well,
you know
that to me, you know, to bring up another analogy, it reminds me of when you have like the beers that are flavored with like different, you know, that like if you have to have your beer taste like mango lassi, surprise, pineapple, whatever, then
then you should be ordering a little mixed drink, you know?
Is a beer even what you want, King?
No, you put the beer down, stop trying to be a man, and get you a Ciroc and pineapple. That's what I would do.
But I mean, I could also argue, you know, and then we can move on from this thread. You know, get you a man that can do both. Get you a man who love a little piña. And who love a full-bodied, impossibly hoppy Saison-style IPA.
Impossibly hoppy. These hoppies are impossible.
It is impossible how much hop you managed to cram into this can.
This beer got more hop than Michael Jordan.
Hey, he's one of those guys who jumps. You got it, baby.
Sorry, I could have named a current player, but of course one wasn't coming to me very quickly because I don't follow sports.
Yeah, Chris.
Except I did see that an athlete, Paul George, just got a $190 million 5-year contract extension, which makes me think that, like, I mean, that's an ungodly sum of money. That is staggering amount of money to play basketball.
What team is he on? Do you know?
I don't know, actually.
Cool that we don't know, I guess.
But I mean, it sounds like everybody's like, oh, he kind of deserves it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like
how do you even quantify anyone being like, you know what? I'm glad they're making that wage that they really deserve. I mean, because they do deserve it. They are, you know, if you're just taking the ratio of money that they're creating, then that's the way it should be. But that's not the way them jobs work, unfortunately.
Them jobs is not. That's when you start your little business accounting.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if every basketball player got a nice flat salary, you know, a healthy one, but not 190. But you know, let's say you're making $10 million a year, everyone, and then you know, just like the corporate workforce, we're rewarded for our performance with bonuses. You know what I'm saying?
Are we going to do bonuses this year at How Long Gone Industries LLC? Or I haven't talked to the business manager.
That's why we kind of that's why I wanted to create my holiday vacation getaway built around visiting your house, because I do need to speak to your father about that. If there is going to be I'm gonna appear on the Black Manor, hat in hand, saying, please, It's been an ever so cold 2020. Please, sir, this year has been such a dumpster fire. Such a flaming dumpster fire. Can it get any worse?
Mr. Black, just before we sit down for dinner, I was wondering about money and how much I'm going to get. So I just we can talk about it. Everybody, you guys can just wait a second.
Yeah, but we could pull something from marketing's budget. Because they know that if you don't spend it, you don't get it next year, and they fumbled that bag. So I think it's kind of on them, and we can allocate some of those fees straight into our Ridge wallets for a little do-re-mi, you know what I'm saying?
Actually, I was going to, speaking of Ridge Wallet, who's not a sponsor of this podcast, and honestly, the product looks a little bunk, but, I did get a package from a sponsor we have worked with, and I got to say, it's more twisted than I even thought.
Okay, well, let me play guess the the product, because I do have to give them your address. So you can receive this product, since we're in different time zones now. But I think it could be from the successful grooming brand Manscaped. Is that correct?
Yes, my parents were literally like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
because they write it. They also they write it all over the box, which it's like ordering. It should be a little more discreet. I don't mean to step. I don't mean to get my little marketing bag, my little but it could be a little more discreet. I mean, I know it's not like a sex toy or something nefarious, but it is just like, I wouldn't want my neighbors.
It's personal.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then with a name like Manscaped, it's like, if you know what it is, then it's embarrassing, and if you don't know what it is, it's arguably worse. When you see the word Manscaped and you're like, what the fuck is mans? Like, it's like we should hope that they only realize that it's just meant to groom your pubes.
Good point.
Because otherwise it's such a twisted word. But make sure to use the promo code GONE. There's some great holiday specials coming up. We haven't started working with them yet, but they let me know that they have all these great holiday deals going on right now. So if we want to talk about it,
stop,
we can.
Stop. We're not talking about shit until they cut the check.
We still get racks. Don't worry. If just use the promo code GONE, you get like 20% off, whatever it is. So I'm not.
The racks better be the racks
shaver.
Better be more. The racks better be more than some ball spray and some boxer briefs, because that ain't paying the bills.
No, it's cold hard. It's cold hard guap. Don't worry. But
that
it is
shit,
not. It's not enough to pay for all of Santa's presents this year, but it's enough. It's enough to fill the stockings. Let's say that.
Look. I mean, I don't want to hawk ball trimmers, but. It's better than Patreon. So, it could be worse. It could be worse.
The thing about the Manscaped, because I have tried it out. There were some other products in the box that I unfortunately re-gifted. I hope Manscaped isn't listening, but there's a bottle of ball deodorant and then ball toner, and it's just called that. Like, it doesn't have a clever name.
I know I do appreciate that they've just leaned into the stupidity of it all and don't try to be clever, because I think that kind of works. I mean, not on me, but I think it could work on someone.
There is a little refreshing ignorance going on of like, I like that.
Who did you re-gift that to, though, is the question?
My friend Dan. I went over to his house yesterday to go. He caught the crib in Palos Verdes, so we took a little tour of PV, and let me tell you, what a dream come true type place, man. That shit is so sick.
Yeah, it's nice as hell. It's going to be nicer. It's going to be. I mean, I think Dano is a great person to gift that stuff to, because as an athlete, he just kind of stays a little moist, which I can relate to.
He practices Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so he's got what you call, if anyone has slipped into a gi, I'm not talking about no cactus flea either. If you slipped into a real gi and put in some hours, that we can build up a little stench. If anyone took hockey practice, all my hockey heads out there, they know about that gear.
Shout out to all our hockey heads out there. I can't believe we have those. But speaking of back-to-backs, this morning I had a tough time, Jason.
Okay. Well, also one quick note before we move on to there. I did use the Manscaped only on my face as a beard trimmer, and I gotta say, truly loved it. So even if you keep your business down there loose and rugged, and you have facial hair, it does work very well for beard trimming. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Hey, please go ahead, man. Thank you for that important work, Jason. So I went to Barry's this morning, of course. Sunday session, Sunday. That's church. You already know on God.
You went to Country Barry's
and had a great workout. But I didn't go. I didn't push because I knew I had a tennis session right after. So the plan was hit Barry's, come home. Change shirts, change socks, have a quick Sakara Life breakfast, and then hit the courts.
Okay.
Get to the courts, there's a bunch of kids taking lessons, blah, blah. We wait a few minutes. My trainer, Jordan, and I hit the court. I'm fucking ripping today, Jason. I don't know what was going on, but the forehand and the volley was looking fucking strong. I was painting the corners. The topspin was on point. Some fat fuck strolls over and it's like, well, I actually have a lesson here at noon, so you guys got to go. And so apparently the city of Atlanta is embroiled in this big local tennis scandal where the management contract of all the courts is now like up in the air, and no one, like, you can book, but then it doesn't show up. It's all this, you know what I mean? It's all this, it's all lost in translation a little bit. So I had to cut my lesson in half.
Damn. That is rough. And, it seems like your regional tennis tee is ripped from the headlines of our current political situation. Am I wrong?
Exactly. That's the fucked up part. It's when art imitates life.
Yeah. I mean, this sounds like it's a Gavin Newsom style fumbling of the rules and restrictions. Exactly.
This is my indoor dining. You know what I mean? So it's like, let me have this. But so we've been able to reschedule, for Monday, because it's a little more quiet on the weekdays, because these losers that have jobs aren't able to, come out there with their little junkyard strokes.
Yeah, they have to work out and like go to the park on a Sunday like some type of cretin.
I hated it. But anyway, so I was a little off my game, but thank God we had this podcast to get me back on track to my usual Sunday schedule.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was playing a little bit with Dave from Weed Sport this week, and it's been a wild, eye-opening situation because we play full tennis rules, full serve, the whole thing, playing games and sets and all that shit. And I gotta say, my serve has been my best friend and my worst enemy this past week.
I think that's the nature of the beast.
When it's on,
TJ.
it's on, and when it's off, it's making me lose every single game really, really badly.
That's the unfortunate part, but it's 10,000 hours, baby. Don't worry, we're gonna get some in on the road.
Yeah, but when the serve is on, brother, it's gonna fuck you up.
It's unhittable.
Yeah. You want to? Yeah. All you can do is sit there and say "too good" while you chew on like a piece of, what do those people chew on? A piece.
The fuck are you talking about? Gum?
No, like a cowboy's chewing on like a piece of straw. That's what you're gonna say.
Oh,
damn! It's too good, brother.
We're not in Texas, but good try. I appreciate that we're playing tennis in Nebraska for some reason. But yeah, it fucked me up a little bit. But I'm back on track, and then I rushed home because twink heartthrob Timothy Chalamet was on Saturday Night Live last night with. It was an interesting combo of new and old. It was Timothy Chalamet and Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band, who literally are 150 years old.
I just hate when like the guest and the musical guest have zero crossover completely. It's like you only have one job when you're booking SNL. It's just like, when Timothy's playing, like have Troye Sivan on or whatever it is, just like something that's going to make sense for everyone watching. So all the Chalamet stands aren't at home being like, what the fuck is this? And then like everyone's uncle tuning in for like, and this is America. They don't have.
Unfortunately, I think that booking Saturday Night Live is a little harder than we realize.
Yeah, there's a lot of back scratching going on over there, isn't there?
But watching the opening monologue where he was wearing a very bright red trucker jacket. I don't know who it was by designer wise, but it was. I didn't hate it, but it was a lot of jacket.
A bright red trucker jacket, like the kind of like a Dickies work jacket style thing.
No, like a Levi's trucker, like a two pockets. You have one that's like shirling lined, like that jacket.
Yeah.
So he does this little thing, and he does a little piano thing with what's his name, Pete Davidson, which it wasn't bad, but what I came to realize is that I hate Timothy's speaking voice. It really rubs me the wrong way.
Okay, well. Is it because, let's unpack it, is it because you want it to be a different one, or is the tone of it just piercing to you like a dog whistle?
No, it's just like, I just can't, it's just a little obnoxious. Like there's a bit of New Yorkiness to it that I can't tell if, obviously he's born in New York, so it could be real, but he's been an actor for once you act for that long, I thought the accent goes away.
So,
you know what I mean? Or it's supposed to some extent.
You said?
In parts, and I think he might be playing it up, especially on Saturday Night Live when Bruce Springsteen is the guest.
Okay. What style of New York is it? Is it like Upper West Side preppy vibe, or is it working class Bronx type of?
It's definitely somewhere in between that, because he's neither of those things. I mean, he apparently lived in Hell's Kitchen as a child, so which is very wild
to have Hell's Kitchen be your playground. Oh man,
yeah. Dark. But I don't know, man. Something really, I guess I just never think about him talking. I see so many pictures of him that I forget that he has a voice.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying. And then, whenever you do hear him, he's playing a role. He usually has some type of little British accent or something, and you're like, okay, that sounds about right. And then when you see him talking, be like, bro, that's awesome. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, it throws me off. I just don't. I don't know. I couldn't. But the rest of the show was, of course, not good. But there's a couple.
Hopefully my life partner feels the same way, and she can stop having a crush on an 11-year-old child, because it's just not right.
I think Timmy's out here doing work, and I do think it's interesting that, like, adult women, because to me he really does look like a teenager. Like
you talking
a high
about
school
stick
student.
work?
I think Timmy's a stick man.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
do you disagree?
No, I think that's pretty known in the world that like, how could you not be? He's a young boy full of raging hormones, and he really has his pick of the litter.
He also apparently doesn't have an apartment and just lives in different hotels.
Okay, now I'm jealous. Do you think he's going to have some type of life-altering scandal that fucks him up, or he's going to stay on the straight path his whole career? Like, is he going to have an overdose? Is he going to have a child out of wedlock? No. Nothing like that. Is he going to accidentally kill somebody? Caitlyn Jenner
that
style?
Could be cool. That could be cool. I think, unfortunately for him, because he's Generation Z, he's kind of a pussy.
Okay.
And, like, I mean, I'm sure he's doing a little coke. I'm sure he's,
you can be a pussy and overdose on drugs.
Can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well then maybe I think he's more. I think that he. I also
it'll be a whoops-a-daisy style overdose, and not
sure,
and not remove me from this mortal coil style.
I weirdly though I don't not like him, but I can't think of a movie I've seen him in where he was good.
No, I don't think anyone thinks he's a great actor. They just like to look at him.
I disagree. But I think his level of fame, like a Taylor Swift or something, is like he could literally never do anything that great, and it'll be fine. He'll be famous forever, and like he could do no wrong. He could literally accidentally murder someone, and no one would care.
Probably true. I mean, yeah. I think that, and that's a great place to be at.
It's incredible that we exalt regular people to that height because they're cute and are in movies.
Yeah, who out there has done some killing and got away with it? We got Caitlyn, we got Brandy. Who else?
I think maybe there could be like I don't know actually, maybe Robert Downey Jr. or someone like that.
Yeah. I know Mark Wahlberg almost killed a guy for being Asian, and that's a classic. Let's not forget that, guys.
Fuck, if you like Mark Wahlberg in 2020, and you're not his relative. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, also, he said, I saw some video speaking of Timothy, saying, like, oh, my daughter loves Timothy Chalamet. If I see that little, like, twerp out on the street, I'm going to kick his freaking ass or something like that. And everyone's like,
oh, maybe
okay.
I stand with Wahlberg on that, I guess. I didn't realize. But, I mean, have you been to Wahlburgers?
Fuck no.
Well, that sounds like some content for us, I think.
It does. I mean, the problem with it is like it would be troll eating, but there's no fun or enjoyment out of it. There's no like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm at Wahlburgers. It's more of just like,
yeah, you're right.
Oh god, I'm at like this is supposed to be a funny like there's.
Is it considered bad, or is it just kind of like whatever?
I think it's kind of whatever. I've never heard anyone proclaim like, you know what, like, I don't care.
It's actually really good.
So good. Like, no one's ever said that. I've never talked to anyone who's ever eaten there because why? Like, what could those lunkheads have to offer in the world of the culinary arts? Not much, unless it's like hot peanuts.
I mean, it's a hamburger, Jason. Let's not get too,
yeah,
it could be an old
dumb hamburger.
Boston's
for
so
dumb people.
famous for its. Boston's so famous for its hamburgers. It's well known for its
Wahlberg,
burger
stick
vibes.
to the fucking beans, you idiots.
But Wahlberg, I mean, that story also comes out every couple years and no one cares.
Of like, wow, isn't it, these boys, he gave his brother, I mean, it's also kind of like, I just gave my like retard brothers a job and they can all make the French fry and they can do good, make some money of their own.
Well, his brother Donnie was on Blue Bloods, a long-running network television show starring Tom Selleck about a family of policemen, and also dated. I think he's married to Jenny McCarthy, former MTV.
How the fuck do you know all of this stuff,
bro? I know everything. I know anything like this. I know it, and it's unfortunate.
Is Tom Selleck alive?
Yeah, Tom. That show's still on. They might still be taping it. It's big.
Oh damn! I like that. I like. This is a strange podcast so far. I'm liking the direction.
I have watched it. I have watched Blue Bloods before.
Yeah, we know.
And I'm not gonna say it's bad because it's not.
Not to me, nothing more depressing than those like procedural police network sitcom drama things.
Well, see what you're forgetting about, Jason, is the human characters. And in this case, you know, it's more about a family and the dynamic of the family that is about the day in, day out, boots on the ground police
Chris, do
work.
not mansplain me how simple television writing works, Chris.
Well, it sounds like you need it, dumbass. So what am I supposed to do?
No.
If
I like other stuff like A24 movies and things like that. I don't watch and watching a show with commercials. Nah, man. Couldn't be me.
Well, unfortunately, at my living space here, I don't have cable. I only have Apple TV, so I'm missing out on commercials. My favorite part of TV.
I've been trying to figure out how to get HBO Max working on my TV. I haven't cracked the code yet, but.
Well, you have to put in a credit card that works, and then I think it's fine.
No, I already have HBO, and I can't tell if it.
You fucking scammer! You're trying to use a Visa gift card from Christmas 2018.
Yeah. Bay has a lot of cards that she doesn't know about. And I do little things like
I got her Social Security, and then it was kind of on from there. You know what I'm saying?
It was on.
So you can't watch HBO Max. I don't understand. But you said you have it.
I have regular HBO, and I can't really tell. I guess I haven't done that much research. I can't tell if that means that carries over to HBO Max as well, or if I have to buy two separate subscriptions.
No, I think it does. I think they got rid of like HBO Go, and now it's just HBO. I think HBO Max supersedes it all, is my understanding. But I mean, what's on HBO? Euphoria, I guess.
I mean, they always have some new dumb show that everyone likes.
Speaking of new dumb shows, I was texting the group chat about this yesterday. Netflix gave comedian Andrew Schultz a 4-part special on Netflix.
4 parts? Are they? They better be 10 minutes long each.
I just honestly, so he's the co-host of the Brilliant Idiots, the podcast with Charlamagne the God that I for some reason listen to religiously. That and Joe Budden are the only two things I can listen to.
I used to listen to Charlamagne, to Brilliant Idiots, but then I had to stop a long time ago.
But he came on this week and was talking about this special, and of course it's a big deal to get a Netflix special, but he's literally acting like I'm a genius. Like, this is going to change the landscape. This is crazy. It's going to be. I'm like, bro, they give these things to fucking anybody. Like, they give these things to fucking anybody. They literally give them out constantly, and no one cares. Like, and also, his whole career has been talking shit about how he can't get an opportunity from the real gatekeepers. So, but of course, when it's finally offered to him, he bows down and sucks the dick like anybody else would, which to me is like, are you about this or not? I thought you were a fucking YouTuber. Like, well, you know what I mean? I just don't understand, like, how you can bend so quickly.
Sounds very similar to the way we handle business at this podcast as well, which is a great one. You talk shit on something until they give us an email and become friends with us, and then we live happily ever after.
Shout out to Gia, my favorite non-alcoholic beverage. But I just was I'm shocked they actually gave him because he's not
that big of a comedian. It must be like a big portion of that is coming from the podcast audience.
I would guess.
I've heard some people talking about him. Like I haven't listened to any of his stand-up or checked for him in a long time, but I've heard other comedians talking about him, that he's like kind of been like on a roll and like kind of killing it lately and getting a little more, coming into his own, I guess.
Well, I think what he does, and this is the only thing that's interesting about it to me, is that it's not stand-up. it's like it's almost, I don't know if it's like a Neil Brennan like 3 mic situation, but it's something more in depth than stand up, which is promising because stand up is rarely good.
It's going to be deeper than rap, is what you're saying.
It's going to be deeper than rap, but it's already. I'm so blown away that, because I guess he has another podcast that's very popular as well. That's like more sports focused. So I think these guys are making a lot of money, dude. I think these guys are making a lot of money and just kind of find their zone. And maybe it got so popular that Netflix had to get, it became like like at this point, maybe the following is built in. It's no risk for them.
Yeah, I mean, now that comedians, they're kind of like, they're just making so much money because it's just like a touring band, except they split the profits with 0 people, and they can do multiple shows in one night. Like, it's not uncommon for you to do like 5 shows in one weekend instead of 2. You're keeping all that money, and the ticket prices for those theater shows are like pretty expensive. It's like $50,
for sure.
$75,
but I think
like that.
But I think also all these comedians have leaned into podcasting during quarantine, and Tim Dillon's making real fucking money for sure. And it's like, all right, we have it on YouTube and we have Patreon, blah blah blah. If you do all of that shit, if you just throw the net out that wide and you're popular, you'll make real money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think that's really awesome, and I really hope that something bad doesn't happen to that and fuck it all up the way that happens to almost everything.
What do you mean, like maybe the music business getting fully decimated by streaming?
Just like right now, it's the Wild West. It's a way for people to have a platform on their own in a world where you're useless if you don't have a platform. If that's, I just worry that if that is taken away and people, people's way to have an income, but say, still exercise their free speech and all that stuff, if that's taken away because of corporate alignment, or like, everyone, like Netflix starts buying all the podcasts and they control it, and they can, they tell you what you can and can't say, like eventually that is going to happen.
But isn't that yeah, it has to happen. I think we have a long runway for us to get our little money and then get out and be on TV, obviously.
Yeah, hopefully that happens before, or after we retire, and Tim Apple gives us our plaque.
There's no way that's not going to happen. That's just what happens to everything. But everybody complains about their Spotify royalties, like musicians. But then I hear from actual musicians they make great money off of it. So it's confusing to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the people who aren't complaining about it are the ones who are actually making money, and vice versa. If you're mad that you are not making enough money in the music business or the movie business or whatever business, there's a pretty good chance that you're just not doing a good job. Just do better.
That's a great point, TJ. And that's what we try to do with this podcast. We just do better over and over.
You should be so busy that you don't have time to realize that you're not making as much money as you should be making.
Exactly.
If you're a real Grustler's Anthem.
Yeah, this is how long gone is the Grustler's Anthem? Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we're doing something 4 times a week, it doesn't even matter if it's bad. We don't even have time to think about it.
Yeah. I don't have time to dwell on a bad episode because I'm too busy getting ready for door number 2.
Exactly. Well, I'm coming to the end, Jason, of my Sakara life
activation.
Week. Today was the last lunch, talking to I can't wait to eat with you. We've got caviar planned.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to vlog your last lunch, by the way?
No, I wouldn't do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about it with you.
Leave the fans
it was actually pretty
more,
good.
I get it.
It was a mushu vegetable kind of situation. It was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And overall, the whole thing is pretty good. The problem is, I realize, and maybe it's because I didn't actually go through the full process of ordering it, but there's sometimes where it's just like, oh, there's a bunch of shit in this I just don't really like, but I have to eat it. Because if I take that out, there's not much left in the bowl.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
It's like when you were a child, you're 5 years old and you're like, I don't want to eat this, and they're like, you better eat it or you're gonna go hungry tonight, boy. That's what they would say down in there in the South. And then you ate it and you liked it, and that's the way we liked it. So is that making you be grateful that you're discovering and falling in love with new foods that you weren't before, or is it making you an angry little Chris?
No, it's not making me angry. It just makes me realize that there's just some shit I don't like. You know what I mean? And I just
well,
always
sound off in the comments, bro. What ingredients are we not really fucking with?
Oh, like
Don't
tomatoes,
pull punches.
bro.
Oh yeah, tomatoes.
And there was something that was like
I mean, come on,
masala.
dog. Tomatoes.
No, I don't want a grape tomato or whatever, the cherry tomato. That shit ain't it, bro. I hate those. If TJ's making me a delicious sandwich that has a slice of extremely fresh tomato on it, that's one thing. But like, I hate the little tomatoes. They're gross.
But when I make you a local artisan salad that has some hand halved, orange, sun gold, cherry tomatoes, best in show, best of the season.
I just don't like it. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
With a lovely vinaigrette. I will serve that to you, and then when I get the plate back to go wash it, it's just a bowl full of a bunch of little tomatoes. And I'm like, you don't understand, bro. This is like throwing away gold.
I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm not a big. And there was also, there was something that was flavored funny, but I had the spaghetti bolognese at the Polo Lounge last night, and that shit was hitting.
At the Polo Lounge last night?
Well, no, I'm saying it was their version, and the Polo Lounge was my parents' kitchen.
Got it.
But you get the idea.
Okay.
You get the vibe. Because mentally, when I see
role playing that we're doing in quarantine,
when I see, unfortunately, that line has stuck with me for so long that anytime I see the word bolognese, that's what I think. That I say it in my head.
That's how much
every
of
time.
a Drake stan you are.
I don't even know if it's a Drake stan or if it's just that good of a line.
I mean, you really have to be somebody who loves and really wants to hear somebody rapping about, a place where like old white people have overpriced Cobb salads. And that,
what do you like
that
more,
either
Jason,
hits for you or it doesn't. And I'm glad that it hits for you.
It hits for. What do you like more, bolognese or Drake?
Bolognese.
Damn, that's fucked up.
No,
bro.
It's not. I don't like
Drake has given us more than bolognese.
No, have you ever met the old nonnas of Italy? They make
you haven't either, bitch.
Chris,
you haven't either.
The nonnas make the pasta by hand. Did you know that?
I'm clear. Yes, I'm clear. Drake makes the slaps
and
Drake
much better than
makes the slaps by hand.
And I also like to support
disagree.
women. Call me fucking a monster, but yeah.
Okay, don't do
like
this.
What Drake's
Don't
doing compared to the
notice.
Yeah, you've heard of nowness. Nah, bro. This is no-ness. You're like, no-ness. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, bolognese is a wonderful, wonderful sauce. It takes hours to make.
Well, this one, I don't know if this one took hours to make. I do think after the Sakar Life experience, I realized that I could be a meal prep guy. Like it tastes good.
You don't love
I put it in
food,
a pan.
So yeah, it's perfect for you.
No, but I'm saying like the actual, like putting something in a pan for 5 minutes and it actually tastes pretty good and requires no effort is the dream situation for someone like me.
Yeah.
Because even putting it in the pan, although I know I'm not doing anything except heating something up, it does feel like I'm putting in effort that I wouldn't be putting in.
So
if I
you
was
got a little
ordering
dopamine
something.
hit of like, I did a thing and I didn't mess it up.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
I mess up everything else in my freaking life.
Except taking you to the fucking top, okay? God damn it!
No,
not on my podcast.
I was just role playing.
Oh, we're doing that now.
Situation.
Well, I think that overall, though, to put a pin in this, I give Sakara Life a 7 of 10.
Okay.
Like,
is that enough to have you get it again this week, but you have to pay for it, or no?
No, but I would probably pay for it at some point in the future if it made sense for me.
Maybe if you were back home on your own and you didn't have your mommy to make you lunch every day, maybe that would change things.
First of all, I don't eat lunch normally. My mom does not cook. So it's more if I was trying to maybe slim down for a red carpet, once we get nominated for a podcast Grammy, you know what I mean? I have to fit into that because the couture Tom Brown fits a little different than the off the rack. So it would be a little bit it would be maybe I think that would help me slim down. I think if I had an event to do or if I was going to be like, hey, I'm going to do this 10-day, like I'm just going to get fucking serious. I'm going to work out twice a day. I'm just going to do this for 10 days just to like feel something. I think it makes a lot of sense.
So you did it this year for your virtual Art Basel, I'm assuming? You just wanted to
exactly.
I had a pen.
Yes, I had a few digital viewing rooms that I had to look slender for. I didn't make any purchases, but I did get the vibes. I did get the vibes.
You can't. Good. Yeah, well, you can't write vibes off. That's one thing I've learned.
Unfortunately, that's true. I think a lot of people are suffering, and the tax man is
I
winning
learned that
yet
the
again.
hard way. Yeah,
Can you please ask my dad if you can write vibes off when you get here?
He's like, well, there's no rule saying you can't write vibes off, but
it's unprecedented. I don't have a history of vibe writing off, but it's possible. Anything's possible.
Look, I need to know that your dad is willing to fight for me, for me and my right to write the vibes off. Okay, I've noticed that the Clubhouse app that we've talked about has been in the news a lot lately. Have you been seeing this? It's been taken over by rappers now.
They talk about it a lot on the Joe Budden podcast.
Right. So, I mean, I haven't seen much of it. I'm glad that it has been taken over by rappers who are more entertaining than, like this is an onboarding chat room for this new guy who does digital marketing for Cisco Systems or something. I'd rather hear 21 Savage make fun of academics. Is what I'm saying.
From what I can tell on the internet, it's basically really awful. Like tech white guys.
Mm-hmm. Not anymore.
And now it has been taken over, but like powerful tech guys, like founders. You know what I mean? Like guys that are rich saying fucked up shit about women, and now it is turned into like Virgil and rappers talking about like kind of everything. I just don't.
It's feeling real dark for me.
Is it still in beta also?
I don't know. It might be. I mean, I think at this point, it seems like almost anyone can get on to it. I've seen people online talking about selling invitations and shit.
Can you imagine wanting to be on that? I mean, it's honestly bad. Like, I have no interest in it. And I do think that if we weren't quarantined, it wouldn't have, I don't think it would matter at all.
I think a lot of people maybe it's appealing to people who just can't be alone and need to just always be up in the mix. I think it might be kind of scratching an itch for those people. But like if you were living alone and you're spending all your time alone during quarantine, you might just miss a room full of people talking over each other. It's comforting to you. But
listen to podcast losers.
Yeah, there's something about it being live and is exciting, and then you get the validation of like, oh, what if somebody sees me in here and they ask if I want to participate in this talk, and then I'll get a dopamine hit validation of everyone else seeing that I'm cool enough to talk to Virgil about, a NASA helmet or something.
No, I mean, I understand the appeal of it a little bit. I do think it's interesting that it instantly went from like extremely problematic to now being like a weird hip hop exchange of ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know it was that problematic, but I mean, founders are founders. They're always fucking things up. And
founders going to found.
What was up with the founder guy who just died or like overdosed? Was that the Zappos guy?
Zappos guy was losing his fucking mind, dude. Like apparently he just was like locked himself in a room, was just doing drugs and was like, and not eating. Like it got really wild.
That's so crazy. I mean, cause he like retired and cashed out and he was just like hanging out, right?
I mean, that's what happens, bro. Too much money, too much time. If you are a drug user, like that's a bad combo.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Because then you're like, I got nothing to do. I might as well enjoy some cool drugs. It would make this vibe a lot better.
I would love to sit in a room and do whippets alone and count my money.
God, I'm so glad whippets, the whippet bug never took hold of me.
Well, it's roaring back at an incredible clip that we've talked about many times on this podcast, but it's not going anywhere.
I hope it does. I was supposed to go, speaking of, it seems like we all are kind of desperate and we're doing fucked up things now in quarantine. I'm making plans tomorrow to go fishing in the LA River. Isn't that fucked up?
Okay, Jason.
That's a thing that people
Is that legal?
Yeah, no, it's a thing that like a lot of people are doing now. That's how fucked up things are in Los Angeles that many successful, intelligent people, with families and careers are like, I'm going to go fish in the LA River, the stinkiest place.
What if you spot Gavin Newsom fishing without a mask on the LA River? Will you take a pic?
Absolutely. And then I will sell it back to him in a little bit of classic blackmail.
We love that idea. Well, So what happens? Obviously, you're not going to eat the fish.
No.
So you just throw it back. This is fully for sport.
This is fully for sport.
Catch and release.
Yeah, this is hashtag catch and release. But I'm going to have to... The problem is if I catch something... for listeners at home, the LA River is basically just like a sewage canal, but there are some nice parts of it, and some people will actually go like kayaking in there and shit, which is truly fucked up. But... people will go and like go fly fishing, and they're like real ass fly fishing guys, and they wade out. They have the boots, and they wade out into the water, and they catch the fish and pull them up. And some people do actually eat them though.
I mean, it just sounds like a terrible environment. Where I thought the part of the appeal of fishing was the environment. You know what I mean? Like getting out somewhere and seeing something different, not the LA River, which is literally full of trash, right?
Truly, completely full of trash. Like dangerous to your health.
Where do you enter this? Like, where do you go?
There's places you can enter all over. Like there are parts of it that are really, really bad, and then some that are quite nice, and they have like little babbling brooks and birds and things like that. I'm gonna go tomorrow with Ariel from Mr. Green. I guess he does this already.
I trust him to guide you. I don't think you should do this alone.
Anybody, even though I'm an experienced angler, anybody who does indoor or outdoor rock climbing, I'm going to trust them that they can show me the way.
Yeah, these rock climbing bros, man, it's everywhere. I'll tell you what, bro. This rock climbing shit is everywhere, bro.
I know. I'm never going to do it. I truly know I'm never going to do it.
Unfortunately, I'll probably end up trying it because I'll try anything that's a sport.
I'm a little surprised you haven't tried it yet. What has stopped you so far?
Well, I guess all the gyms are closed, so like I'm not gonna go do it in the wild for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That seems crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to wonder what is so fun and enjoyable about it. I don't know if it's like the camaraderie of getting your crew together and then carrying some big inflatable pad on top of your Subaru to a rock in Joshua Tree, and then you bring some like thoughtful snacks, and then
it's definitely a vibe. It's definitely like
grab a rock, and your friends take different pictures of you on a rock, and then you go.
It's very much. I have a Forerunner. I wear Brain Dead. I have a Loewe chalk bag. I mean, I do think the stuff is pretty cool. Like there's a lot of cool stuff that you get to buy. Like
it's a reason to have snow peak gear, I guess.
Yeah, it's very much like, but it is a certain kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Or
but
gal.
I do think it's good exercise. It's good exercise, and it's I think the real appeal of it though is the mental challenge of like problem solving, like you were talking about in the kitchen, because you can't just brute force your way through it. You have to like thoughtfully maneuver, or you will fall to your death. So that's cool.
So not unlike the game of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or tennis.
I think, to an extent, for sure. I'm more into some brute force stuff, obviously, because of my insane strength.
She's a boxer. I get it.
Yeah, it's a little different for me. I think boxing is a little meditative, too, though.
You're my Muay Thai guy. Yeah, no, it's very meditative. Trust me.
Hey, you ain't ever boxed, you little limp ass.
One time I did a kickboxing.
Cereal?
One time I did a kickboxing. I unbox all kinds of fucking swaggy gear. One time I did a kickboxing class, and then I kicked... There was like a heavy bag that you...
Damn, bro. What chick made you do a kickboxing class? We'll talk about that offline.
Next question. There's a gift certificate involved. Let's just say it didn't work out. But they had a heavy bag, and the instructor was like, all right, so you do a 1-2 punch, and then you do like a spinning side kick, and then you do that 5 times or whatever. And I do the punch, I do the kick, and then I kick, and then I hit on my shin at like this perfect place that is like where a large blood vessel is, and then my ankle, like my shin down just swells up like I got stung by a bee. And then the instructor's like, no more today. And then he's like, you just go sit down, make sure like your leg doesn't die. And I've never gone back.
I mean, you're unfortunately your shape and size only allows for a few physical activities. You know what I mean? You can barely walk.
Yeah.
You can't run, but you are able to ride a bike. You are able to play tennis.
I don't generate a ton of torque and explosive power. That's for sure.
See, and unfortunately, that's something that I'm rich with. Explosive power is
such an explosive guy.
My explosive power is kind of what I'm known for on the court, the field, the gym, kind of wherever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whereas I'm more explosive in the Zoom party chat. You know what I mean? I'm always taking
you're explosive
big
on the
digs.
mic.
I like to bully in there and stuff.
You're explosive on the mic, as we all know.
Yeah, I am.
When you get in the lab, it's explosive.
I had a Zoom party last night, a Secret Santa. I'm actually nursing a hangover.
I know this is the lamest, whitest shit I've ever heard you say. I can't believe you did this. If somebody asked me to do a Zoom Secret Santa, I would laugh at them.
Yeah, I know, but I will say that I preferred a Zoom Secret Santa to just a regular Zoom hangout because there's at least an activity and there's like a theme and direction of what's going on versus everybody like talking over themselves for 10 minutes and then it just devolves into like
I've never done a social Zoom. I've done one social Zoom to celebrate an engagement. That is, and I did that because it was a special occasion. The thought of Zoom is for making money. That's why we Zoom.
Yeah, I know.
We don't Zoom to see friends. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, we're a little older, I guess, and that's just the way it goes. But yeah, I can't handle it. I also think it is crazy, but sometimes we have to participate in them for various reasons.
Yes, we all do things we don't want to do. Trust me, it's a story of my life.
It's called compromise, and I'm happy to do it for my partner.
So to forget how lame and white you were doing a Zoom Secret Santa with other people, you decided to get twisted off that natty, didn't you?
No, I got twisted off of eggnog. And it was a dark situation inside of my gastrointestinal area because
what do you eat when you're drinking the nog?
That is quite the problem because we didn't eat anything,
so.
But beforehand I had lunch.
The problem is we didn't eat anything.
No, I was coming off of a full gullet of Korean barbecue.
Oh.
So it was galbi, marinated beef, short rib with like garlic and chili and all that stuff, and then milky, creamy white eggnog as the topper. And I mean, it was a bad vibe going on. So I'm kind of
that's a twisted combo that of all people you should have known better, but I guess you didn't have a choice.
It was kind of me taking a victory lap for my iron stomach. Sometimes you have to push to the wall just to remember where it is. You know what I mean?
So how do you feel today?
I don't feel great. I will say that. I mean, you unfortunately get a pretty rough hangover from eggnog because it's just like milk, so much sugar, and then like brandy and whiskey. So just it doesn't work out well at all. So I'm not doing so great mentally, but that's fine. But I found that on the Zoom, because of my frustrations, I felt bad. I kept catching myself being kind of like mean or abusive or like bullying other people. Or
maybe you were dealing with the Zoom full of pussies.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, of course, but to me, it was like whenever I get so frustrated on Zoom because it's like it's 10 people talking at the same time, and you say a question and you hear nothing, and then you have to ask it again, and then one more time, or if you say a joke, nobody hears it, or whatever it is. So I just start trying to see like things that I can say to see if just to get a reaction out of anyone. And then it kind of devolves into me like being a little bit of a bully and hurtful to people. And I feel bad about that.
I don't. I imagine these people need a little dose of that. And they probably talk bad about you when you're not around, but that's to be expected.
Oh, 1,000%. And that's fine.
And I think that's fine. They all wish they could come on this podcast, but they're not invited.
And lastly, somebody tweeted at me today saying that they feel like I have done a good job mastering this thing called fatherhood, and they were asking me for some tips and tricks. And then I replied, I literally don't have children. And
what the fuck fuck are you talking about? Who said? Was it a
no?
bot?
It was like a. I mean, I'm sure it's somebody who listens to the podcast or something like that. And hi, shouts goes out to you. Thanks for that cool tweet. But it made me wonder. For the first time in my entire life, is that energy that I potentially put out to the world? And if you think that I would be a good father, what does that say about you and your standards? Or am I actually putting out that vibe and I didn't realize it?
I think you would be a good father, actually.
Oh, yes, go off, Dad.
I did. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but I do think you'd be good at it.
Oh, my offspring will absolutely be your worst enemy, as you constantly fight for my attention over the years.
Don't worry. I'm the Beyonce of this podcast. I'm the Beyonce of your life. So some little kid can't come in and take my crown.
Don't come for Papa.
Don't come for Papa. That's pretty funny, though.
Yeah, it was a little funny, and it was making maybe. I don't know what it means to kind of put out that vibe without having any children. Is it? Do I just have dad swag?
No, it's a calming energy. I think that and I will say, and I know this from experience, that you do have a supreme amount of patience.
Oh, okay. So good patience,
which I think is an important quality to have in a father.
Okay, yeah. One thing I've always tried to put out that vibe of like the cool science teacher who teaches you lessons about life and is okay if you like come in a little stoned.
Not just science, but lessons about life.
There we go. Someone's been studying.
You're succeeding, TJ, and I love it.
Yeah. So thank you for that, and I guess I'm gonna have to have a child soon or something like that.
You don't have a choice now.
The world ain't ready.
It's predetermined. The world is definitely not ready. I'm definitely not ready. We have a lot of money to make before you can be distracted by some little diaper rat.
Diaper rat is good. That's like bottle rat for babies.
Exactly.
Every time a fresh pack comes out, guess who comes around?
Exactly. I had to make it. I had to put it on a level that you would understand. Speak your language.
Thank you for that. All right, Chris. Well,
no problem.
Any closing remarks before we put a pin in this potty?
Nope. Another beautiful day. Love your work, TJ. Always a pleasure to chat.
Oh yeah.
Check out How Long Gone Radio on Spotify. It was actually all good music this week, which is exciting.
Yeah. Go listen to How Long Gone Radio if you haven't done it yet. We're really starting to get into our stride, and it's getting pretty good and funny. But I think we'll have some year end lists coming up in the next couple weeks.
And labels, let us know if you want us to get an imprint, because we're looking for one. So, me and TJ, we could take over the A&R. We could make your shit really hot. So just, get in touch. Let us know.
Yeah, just bang the Cash App and we'll kind of send over all the PDFs and stuff on how to do it.
PDFs and stuff. We'll talk to you guys later this week. At Done to Death Projects on Instagram, at Done to Death on Twitter.
At Them Jeans on everything.
You already know the vibes. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Later.